right, welcome to another episode of American Beauties. I'm Sam Wismer. Dan is off celebrating this Hallmark holiday with his soon-to-be wife. But this week, I am welcoming my good friend Jack Hudec. So welcome to American Beauties.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk some AHL hockey.
Yeah, instead of talking ECHL. All right, tell the audience here a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a professional goaltender in the Michigan Independence Hockey League for the Blue Water Stars out of Port Huron, Michigan. First year in the Michigan Independent League, so I've been playing games, getting a lot of shots, so that's been a lot of fun. Just enjoying the journey and looking to go up the professional hockey ranks, and now a 20-year AHL hockey fan, so nothing better.
Yeah. Haven't you been practicing with a team too?
I have been. I've been practicing with the Wolves like every here and then whenever they need me. So it's been a great experience just getting over there and facing AHL caliber shots. Just living the dream right now.
Living the dream. I think that's what everybody is trying to do, and just work their way up through the ranks. And as you've told me about 15 times today, Sam, it's part of professional hockey.
Especially getting when some of your favorite goalies get released from teams. It's part of the game. You just gotta. He's gonna find a new home soon. I know that. And if you're a Reading Royals fan, you know.
You know, because Sam probably cried. But yeah, so obviously you guys know I cover the Phantoms. And I've been covering the Royals recently and taking pictures, and the Royals have lost a few players in the last couple of days, actually. 2 players got suspended, which basically means that they're just going overseas. But in order for a team to retain the rights in the ECHL, you have to suspend them in order to bring them back.
That's weird.
It's very strange, but it's a tactic they use. And then goaltender Josh Boyko got released.
My boy Boykes.
Who I did a wonderful interview with. Just, pat myself on the shoulder here.
The guy's a beauty, though, for real. Like, best guy I've ever like. One of the nicest guys I've ever skated with and I've ever met. So he's a great guy.
He's anyway. He is. He's a really good guy. And then there were 2 more call-ups this afternoon due to illness and 1 injury on Lehigh Valley. So, but just to get into it, we're going to talk a little bit about Coachella Valley here. We've been covering a little bit about Coachella throughout this season because, like Chicago Wolves last season, they kind of have the cheat code.
They do. It's like I obviously haven't watched Coachella Valley, but like I've definitely seen them on the uprise, and they've been top of the standings basically all season, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just fun to watch. Like they have former Wolves captain Andrew Podorowski, who just underwent surgery. So hope he has a good recovery and a speedy recovery. And they also have like talent from top to bottom, like the 2022 Calder Cup champions.
Yeah, I mean, they're stacked. I don't know how Seattle pulled that off, but good for them. Just going back to how you and I met, you saw me with my Alex Lyon sign at the Calder Cup playoffs. And you're like, yeah. Who is this girl?
The biggest Alex Lyon fan. Like, I thought I was a big Alex Lyon fan. Then Sam came along, and she literally has the Lyon jersey, Lyon like signed poster, just everything. Literally, jersey Lyon. Right behind her.
Pictures.
You probably have like 3 other jerseys just of Alex Lyon.
Actually, I don't. That's my only one.
Well, you're gonna get another one soon.
Oh, we can only hope. But yeah, with Coachella Valley, they're I can't think. Their record this season is 37-3-1. They're at a point
37-3-1.
37-3-1. 3. Yeah, they've got the cheat code. And they are the first year AHL affiliate with Seattle Kraken. Which, by the way, I saw their jerseys up close and personal this past weekend. I love their coloring. Seattle, I love the coloring.
Yeah, I haven't seen their like jersey up close, but just from pictures, it's like honestly, I would say the best jersey in the league. Honestly,
For sure, no doubt about it. They are at a .780 this season, and I'm not sure. I think they have 30 or 31 games to go, just like the rest of the league. And they came out of the All-Star break with an 11-game point streak at home, which is
that's crazy, especially with the talent of that American League right now, and how it gets better and better every year. Like just having an 11-game point streak like that, is unheard of, honestly.
And this is what I tell people is to like, yeah, you may not care about the minor league, but like you got to understand the AHL, even the ECHL is so incredibly stacked with talent. Like you'd be stupid to not pay attention to it.
Minor league hockey is the best kind of hockey, honestly. Whether it's AHL, ECHL, like I'm even putting the SPH on the Fed and the FPHL in there too, and now the Michigan League too. All those have a ton of talent in it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even those guys in the MIHL or the SPHL, FPH, they have to work their way up through the ranks. I know Ryan Marker. Ryan Marker's in the FPHL. You just got to work your way up.
Guys that love the game.
He had a little bit of a stint with the Royals last season, but they didn't keep him. But and then the Firebirds also have a 23-3-1-1 mark in their last 28 games.
Wow. I don't even think. What did the Wolves do last year? I don't know if they had. I don't know if they went like that.
No, because they had a couple losing streaks.
Yeah, but we then put on some big winning streaks, but I don't think as big as Coachella is right now.
But yeah, if it comes down to the Calder Cup and it being Coachella and Hershey.
Coachella. I'm going Coachella. Early vote for Calder Cup. Coachella.
God, I'm gonna admit this again. I like Hershey, even though they're a rival of the Phantoms. My Phantoms fans, please don't trash me and throw me over the bridge for that. But Hershey's a stacked team, but they haven't faced a team like Coachella. Just like Calgary last season. Or sorry, Stockton faced Chicago, and
and that was
probably the best series.
That was the best series of the entire Calder Cup finals, I believe. And like I was just nervous going into the building for those games. And like Stockton was an unreal team last year, and like they had a lot of young talent. And like the Wolves, like we didn't, Dustin Wolf. The Wolves didn't face Stockton at all, so like you didn't know what to expect, which is why I would really like to see like every team play like every team, even though I know it's probably not gonna happen, but like just to see every team.
Mm-hmm. Michael Hellman, Hershey is a good team. You're not wrong, Sam. Thanks, Mike. Mike helps me out by posting his views and thoughts on the Phantoms game, and we kind of just bounce back and forth off each other. Mike, keep me updated on this game back here. I'm a little afraid to even turn it back on. But Firebirds, like we said, are stacked with talent. They have Cole Lint, Alex True, Brogan Rafferty, and Cameron Hughes. And Cameron Hughes led the Providence Bruins in scoring the past 2 seasons, and he was one of the best two-way forwards in the Eastern Conference.
Wow, that's a lot. That's some talent right there.
Yeah. And then there were some other moves within the league this past week. New York Islanders and Vancouver Canucks did a multiplayer deal. I'm sure you heard about this.
Yeah.
Bo Horvat and Anthony, oh my God,
Belzile, I think.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
Atu Radi, who was a prospect for Bridgeport, did a whole trade. I can't think tonight.
For the Islanders.
Thank you. Jesus. I need sleep. And Roddy also has 2 goals in 12 NHL games this season. So he was a really top prospect. Michael Hellman, you're not missing much. A lot of the Phantoms guys had the flu. Yeah. Jennings, Willman, there was somebody else. Karashik. They all have the flu right now. Ooh. So hence the call-ups of Mason Millman and Charlie Gerard. I also said something to our head coach about Charlie Gerard having a fantabulous season, and you could see the wheels just starting. Like, I literally, if he had wheels for eyes, the eyes just went. I was like,
yes. You see right through his soul.
Yeah. And the New York Rangers and St. Louis Blues did a deal. Hunter Skinner went in the deal to the Blues as part of a return for Vladimir Tarasenko, who, I'm sorry, he was part of like every rumor for the past 3 years. Tarasenko's going to this team. Oh yeah, Tarasenko was.
I didn't even know Tarasenko was on the going to be on the move at all. Like, I don't know if I'm just not in it or what, but I never heard. I was surprised by that Tarasenko trade, and the Rangers just got that much better.
Oh yeah, and then I mean, forget what season it was. It was not this past off season, but the season before that, when the Flyers were making all those moves for like Ellis and Atkinson. They were heavy on like the Seth Jones and Tarasenko. We were like, no. But Skinner is a 2019 4th-round pick by the Rangers, and he played in 49 games last season for the Hartford Wolfpack, and he is heading up the coast to join the Blues affiliate in Springfield, which Jack and I can both attest that Springfield has a pretty nice, small, but very nice arena.
Yeah, I really loved that arena. It was small, like the concourse was tight, but the size of the arena, they have passionate fans like all over. Like those Calder Cup games were packed. Like I'm pretty sure games 4 and 5 were sold out, like no seats left, and the atmosphere, like they get into their hockey, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. I was up in Providence in November, and obviously the Phantoms were playing the Bruins, and yeah, they get into their hockey. They were basically telling their boys to spear my boys, and my boys kind of speared them. Lazinski carried those 2 games, but it's fine.
It was just like when the fans were giving Lyon the finger when they won the cup.
And he got a suspension, 1 for each finger. I don't blame him. Listen, I tell everybody, Michael will fully agree to this because he's known me for a while. Lyon could literally do the worst crime possible in front of me, and I would be like, it's okay. It's okay. That's how I feel about all my goalies.
That's a true Alex Lyon fan right there.
This
is a goalie loving podcast. We love all the goalies.
We really do. Some more than others, but oh, Jack, I know you're going to call me out at some point.
I'm just waiting for the right time.
Well, he just needs to join in. Anyway, yeah, so before we go on to the next segment, we got to pay a bill here. Righteous Felon Beef Jerky. Use promo code OCSN for 15% off your jerky bundles, meat, snacks, and more. And if you order over $50 worth of stuff, it's free shipping. And their beef jerky, I don't know if you're a beef jerky person, Jack, but their jerky is top notch. Like, they have so many different flavors. You got to go check them out. And now you have
I'm going to have to go check them out.
And now
right after this episode.
Yes, Sam, you would defend Lion to the death. It's funny because Caden Fulcher's like on my Instagram. He sees everything I post.
Another one of my guys.
Fulch.
Fulchie.
From what I'm hearing, I didn't see him play this past weekend, but from what my friend Ryan Bizarro was saying is that he's getting back to his Toledo style of play. And I'm like,
there we go. He's been through a lot. Like a lot of adversity hit Fulchie, and I'm glad to see him battling it out and having a team to play for. He's such a beauty too.
He's great. He stopped me when I got off the bench last week.
Of course.
To say hi, and I was just like, "How you doing up there?" He's like a whole foot taller than me.
He's a tall guy.
I'm like, hey.
that helps him tend the goal better because he's so tall. Love that guy.
Yeah, he's something else. I can't wait to see him this weekend. So Caden, if you decide to hop on in, I'll see you this weekend, bud. Talking about the AHL Player of the Week. Oh my God, I hope I pronounced his name right. Georgi Merkulov. Sure, let's go with that. He scored a game-tying goal and his second goal and third point of the night. There was a minute, like a little over a minute. Charlotte just scored again. There was a little over a minute remaining in regulation as Providence went on to a 4-3 shootout victory over Wilkes-Barre Scranton. We had Liz Child from Area 51, and she also works for the San Jose Barracuda. And we also had Deanna Weinheimer from Field Pass Hockey on a couple weeks ago, and we went over each of our divisions. And when it got to the Atlantic Division, Dan asked, what's the biggest, I guess, disappointment? And I flat out said Wilkes-Barre. Because they started out hot and they just have fallen off.
What place are they in now?
It's a good question. I think the last time I saw it was they were in last. They're facing a lot of adversity right now. They don't have Dustin Tokarski. They have, good Lord, I don't even remember. Taylor
Gauthier?
Yes. And
I know my goalie is better than Sam. Just saying, just putting that out there.
Lindbergh. I believe his
Philip
last name.
Lindbergh?
Yeah. Yeah, Wilkes-Barre's in last place. They're tied with Bridgeport right now. So yeah. Tokarski's up with Jari because of Jari's injury right now. And unfortunately, when you're down people, you're down people. We all know that feeling.
And that's when the lower guys get called up and make the most of their opportunities.
Yeah,
hockey.
I mean, for a couple weeks there, Lehigh was riding with Meyer and Nags.
An Olympian right there, Pat Nagel.
Oh my God, you are just like Andrew.
About what?
Because he always corrects me. Sam, it's Olympian Pat Nagel. I said, God forbid I don't use his government name.
Andrew, we were on the same page.
But yeah, so Merkulov has totaled 6 goals and 3 assists during Providence's current 5-game winning streak, because why would Providence not win a game? Another comment. Hi, Dom. I will be there Sunday and possibly the post-game skate if I don't get scared. Tell Chase and Paisley I said hi and happy Valentine's Day. In 43 games for oh my gosh, I need to sleep. In 43 games for the Bruins this season, Merkulov has recorded 14 goals and 21 assists, and he ties for 4th among AHL rookies in scoring.
Wow.
Yes.
He's only 22. He's only like 22 years old. So he's
from Russia.
A young guy.
You know just as well as I do that these Russian players, not even goaltenders, are built different.
They are.
He's from Ryazan, Russia, and this was his first pro season. And at Ohio State University in 21-22, he led the all NCAA freshman with 20 goals in 36 games and was a first-team All Big Ten selection. He made his pro debut with Providence late last season, picking up 1 goal and 4 assists in 8 games. Ohio State is very near and dear to my heart. My boy Lazinski, who skated last week before practice and everybody else, but he was still on the ice, so it counts. 1 step.
He's getting better.
Tanner, this is a plea. Please come back. But yeah, I mean, Merkelov is definitely going to be a force for Boston when he gets up there. So hopefully he makes his NHL debut soon. Not that I'm wanting any players to get injured, but it happens.
It's always good for the opportunities.
Yep, and you know all about those opportunities too.
Oh yeah.
All right. So before we move on, I think I did these out of order, but oh well, everybody's going to get their bill paid. Go to www.oldcitysports.com. That's old with an E, and check out all of our other podcasts, articles, and more. We have our Phillies podcast. It's about to get running again. I believe it's 2 days to training camp, maybe.
Something. I know it's coming up very soon.
I don't know. I go to Iron Pigs games, and I go there to but yeah, and then we have our Big Brother show. It's called Center Ice. It's the NHL league-wide show. And then we have Flyers Alley. We have a beer tasting podcast, Delco Dive.
How does that work? Just beer taste on air?
Yeah.
That's sick.
And they rate the beers and everything like that.
That's awesome. Something that would be something I'd love to see in action.
I think they're doing an episode. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Jesse, but Dominic, I'm excited for Troy to be back. Troy Grosnick is back from injury. He hasn't played since October, so goose. And then 16 pitchers and catchers. Yes, Dom. Dom knows more about baseball than I do. I just know that they run the bases and throw the ball.
And they swing and they hit the ball, and sometimes they swing and miss.
And sometimes they're very good looking, but that's just me. Oh, how do you deal with me on a daily basis?
I still have no idea. This happens.
And our 1 a.m. talks when we're both awake. I'm like, I know this kid's awake.
I never sleep. Which clearly I think you need to sleep, like you said, 5 times on this episode so far.
It's not gonna happen. It's fine. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Alex Belzile. Oh God, I hope I pronounced that right. He got his first NHL goal.
Congrats to him.
Yeah. A long time coming for him.
He's a 31-year-old, right?
The
one for the Canadians?
Yep. Yes, Dom. I can't wait to watch Goose during warm-ups too, but I will not be there Saturday, so you will have to send me video because I need to be in Reading. Listen, Reading is having their Ant-Man, because that movie's coming out soon. They're having their Ant-Man uniforms. I want to get pictures of that. So
that's what I love about the ECHL and like some teams in the AHL. They just have like specialty jerseys, like a ton. Like especially in the ECHL, like every promotion they do, whether it be like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like I've seen that in like I believe Toledo did that before. Like and like they have literally probably 10 sets of jerseys a season, maybe even more than that, and it's just so nice to see the different like styles because instead of just the plain old like home and away and then sometimes the third or the alternate, and just have a wide variety of jerseys.
Yeah, I know last weekend the Phantoms played with their blackout jersey. So it was like a black jersey with just the orange like striping on it. It's one of my favorite jerseys. But yeah, the ECHL, when I first started taking pictures last month for the Royals, They were wearing their Star Wars jerseys. Got pictures of our boy in that. And then the pink in the rink, just the Flyers affiliation night. Just they have so many different cool jerseys. It's just nice to see difference instead of, like you said, the same old, same old.
The same, yeah. I do have a question. What do you think of the fan Lehigh's warm up jerseys with their mascot on the jersey? I do like the pants though, the white pants there. I do appreciate that. Like that looks clean. But it's I love seeing the mascot on the jersey. It just you don't really see that often. So it's just It's an interesting jersey.
It's an interesting jersey, but I'm not a fan of it. My favorite uniform this season was our whiteout jersey, and we have, I think, 2 or 3 more whiteout games coming up. It is a photographer's worst nightmare, but I don't photograph those games, so
that's a plus for you.
The pink in the rink, the colored ice games are a nightmare to photograph.
I can imagine. Did you see the Wolves mental health jerseys?
I think I did. I don't remember.
Because those are probably one of my favorite AHL jerseys now. Like they're just so clean on the ice. Because it was like black, green, like it had like white on it. So it was just like like picture perfect. Like I loved it.
I'm actually really happy that an AHL team kind of paid attention to mental health. I know not a lot of teams kind of want to touch that.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad Chicago did. As someone who myself, I suffer from bipolar 2 with rapid cycles. It's still really hard for me to talk about even a year after diagnosis, but it's something that needs to be paid attention to. There's so many people suffering and you really don't know what anybody's going through.
It's good to get the awareness out, and like I've talked about it with players like on my podcast, and like everyone agrees like it has to, like it's more known and prevalent than ever before. So it's good to get awareness out in a public.
Michael Hellman, I wish the fans would bring back the purple jerseys. I do too. I wish they would bring back Flex, the old mascot, because he seemed pretty cool. But we got Melvin, and Melvin's birthday is on Sunday, so.
And Melvin is the Lehigh Valley mascot on the jerseys.
Yes. And he's probably going to be absolutely savage with popcorn on Sunday, so it's going to be great to see. But getting back to Alex here, he first joined the Canadiens organization in 2018 with Laval Rocket, who have dug themselves out of quite of a hole, which is...
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about the North here often enough, so I'm going to give a little bit of a jolt of the North Division here. But Alex is 31 years old, and he became the oldest Hab to notch his first NHL goal since Herb Gardner on December 7th, 1926. Herb was 35 years old. Now,
it's almost 100 years ago. What, 96 years ago? If I can do the math correctly, I'm not good at math, so don't count me on that, but something like that.
Let's do a little calculator. 2023 minus 1926. 97 years ago.
Oh, I was close.
Our boy is a Montreal fan. I remember him saying, he's like, I'm a Habs fan. And I remember making this face. He goes, yeah, I know how happy that makes you, eh? I was like, oh my God, the Canadians coming out.
Gotta throw the A in it.
He's got to stop with the A.
I sometimes think I'm Canadian and I throw the A out of nowhere, and I'm not very good at it.
Well, you hang around Canadians a lot, so
But doesn't mean I am Canadian.
No. Another familiar Rocket name, Raphael Harvey Pinard, later picked up his 6th goal in 9 NHL games this season as the Canadiens defeated Edmonton 6-2.
6-2. Wow.
6-2. Yes.
Isn't Edmonton doing pretty good this? Or no, Edmonton I don't think is doing that great this year. Never mind.
I don't keep up with NHL as much as I should, because
We look it up right now. Canadians are in last in the Atlantic, and then Edmonton's fourth in the Pacific. So one team's doing better than the other, and that is not the Habs.
Of course not. Belzile, who made his NHL debut during the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs, played 11 games with Montreal last season, but did not make his 2022-2023 debut with the Habs until January 20th. And since then, he has found his place in the lineup, and he's played 7 games and has had 4 assists to go along with Sunday's goal. So, stick taps.
He's played over 500 professional games too, right? I believe.
Including
that's a minor leaguer that's dug his way out of the minors and played 500 plus games and then gets a goal in the NHL. It's unreal.
Yeah. Which, you at one point you think you're going to be a career AHLer, which, hey, that's never a bad thing, ever. And then you get that call up and it's like, you got to make the most of it.
Because that may be your only shot. So you just got to make the most of any opportunity that you can get.
Yep. He made his NHL debut during the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2020. That weird.
Oh, during the bubble and all that.
Yeah. He played 11 games with Montreal last season. I think I said that, but yeah. Laval losing 11 of its first 14 games this season.
Ouch.
Now listen, I've been through that. I went through that last season. It's not fun. Oh. But right now they are above .500 for the first time all season. And they are 7-1-2-1 in the last month, and they've put themselves into the playoff race.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So if they keep going that way and start out 11 for 14 with losses, I'd say that's a pretty good end to like the regular season. They can make a playoff push, especially since how poorly of a start they had.
Seriously, that I feel for them. Just another thing, Laval, when they go to when they're on the road, they have a whole media crew with them.
That's sick.
I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 people, and they're scary.
Why?
Because every time the Phantoms would score, the Phantoms would do something, they would get so angry.
They're passionate for their team, okay?
I even told the PR guy, Matt Trust, with the Phantoms, I was like, Matt, they're scaring me. And he's like, just ride it out. He's like, they bring the whole team with them. I'm like, I don't want to be here with this next game.
No, not at all. But Laval did have I really appreciate the fan base that they do have, especially you saw it at the All-Star game too, and that place was packed the entire weekend, and you could hear the atmosphere in the arena, and that's a place where I would want to play, especially to have passionate fans like that in Laval. That's awesome.
The only gripe I had with the AHL All-Star game is that they kept pronouncing Ronnie Attard's last name wrong.
They didn't even say Max Lajoie's name until after the anthem.
Why?
They literally showed Max's face and then proceeded to call Max McCormick's name of Coachella. And then after the anthem, they're like, oh yeah, we forgot Chicago Wolves captain Max Lajoie.
That's so bad.
Max was laughing and smiling the entire time. He was loving it.
But talking about a guy who has worked his way up through the ranks, Alex Belzile. He played for 5 different teams in the ECHL.
Wow.
And he got his first look in the AHL with San Antonio, who is no longer around. And he played 131 games over 3 years for them. and finally opened an opportunity to come to Laval in 2018. And he posted new AHL highs with 54 points in 74 games in the 2018-2019 season.
Wow.
He was also selected for the AHL All-Star Classic that year. And he got his AHL deal into a 1-year contract with the Canadiens in the 2019 season, and 3 1-year extensions with the organization have followed.
That's a guy that was like alive from his time with San Antonio, and then he goes into Laval, and it's like a whole new place, and he thrived in that atmosphere compared to what he did with San Antonio at the time, and just rejuvenated his career, and look where it got him to the NHL.
Exactly. I mean, just reading that he's worked his way up through the ECHL and the AHL, and now he's in the NHL.
That's a grind.
Yeah, he grinded it out for sure. And just I told people, I said, with the ECHL, when players get called up, they're more than likely they're going to be back.
Yeah,
that's just how it works. But with the AHL, when a player gets a call up, you don't know if they're coming back. I talk a lot.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about Lehigh Valley here. I'm going to use Cam York as an example. I knew once Cam York got that call up this season, he wasn't coming back. And I was right. He hasn't come back so far. But good for him. And he's doing fabulous in the NHL. So I got really good shots on Sunday. Just saying. In the 2019-2020 season, he did have a season-ending injury in December of that season, and he spent much of the 2021 season on Montreal's taxi squad. And he played only 19 games between Laval and the Habs. And another injury held him down to 32 AHL games last season, but a strong postseason run, and he could help the Rocket get all the way to the Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. So he is definitely a grinder, as you would say.
Faced a ton of adversity, grinded through it, and just kept working. And if you do that, good things are bound to happen to good people that work hard.
Yeah. Things are not handed to you, as you and I have spoken about. They're not handed to you in this field. And if you want something, you got to grind and work and ask for it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This segment is brought to you by Neshaminy Creek Brewing. Visit www.neshaminycreekbrewing.com and check out their awesome beers, merch, and much more. Jack, I know you come out to Philly a few times a year, so we'll go to Neshaminy Creek because they have really good beer. And visit www.norsebeards.com and enter promo code OCS for 25% off your Norse Beard products. I don't really talk about this much because I don't have a beard, so
I just trimmed mine.
Men, if you need beard products, I got you a code. So the next segment is the Disciplinary Report, which we have one guy. This is Dan's segment that he made up, and I feel bad because he's not here, and he always gets excited when there's a suspension. Travis Barron was suspended for 1 game as a consequence of his actions in a game against Abbotsford on February 10th. So he was suspended for the February 11th game. And he received an automatic 1-game suspension under the provisions of AHL Rule 23.3 for his 3rd game misconduct in the general category this season.
Wait, you get suspended for 3 game misconducts?
His 3rd game misconduct in the general category this season.
I never even knew that rule. I knew about the fighting rule, but I know about you get suspended for game misconducts after 3. I mean, I expect that, like, especially if like it's game misconduct, like you don't want that in the game. So makes sense, but never heard of that rule.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know that either, but and I didn't realize there were different levels to a major penalty. Like level 1 is your worst, and level 3 is your least. It's AHL is weird. moving on, because that's the only thing we have there. This segment of American Beauties is brought to you by Sterling Pig Brewery out of Media, Pennsylvania. Really good beer. Go check them out if you're in the Media, PA area. Who's up? Who's down? My team here decided to get sick.
Lehigh Valley Phantoms.
Sam Erson, Kiefer Bellows, and Ollie Lixell all are up to Philadelphia now. Adam Ginning, Max Willman, oh my God, and there's somebody else. Adam Karashik are all out sick. Jordy Bellarive is also injured, so we had to call in some reinforcement here. Troy Grosnick is back. Goose is back, so excited.
Goose.
He hasn't played a game since October 28th, 29th, one of the days. And we called up Charlie Gerard and Mason Millman from the Reading Royals to help fill in. Don't worry, Royals fans, they will be back. But Charlie Gerard earned that call up. He has 22 goals and 22 assists in 44 points in the season. Charlie is a major part of the Royals, and yeah, my boy. Linus Hogberg and the Philadelphia Flyers agreed to a mutual contract termination, and Linus is now playing, I believe, in a Swedish team league, I think. Grigory Denisenko is up to Florida, and Tomas
Vamaka.
Thank you, because that's a goalie, is down to Norfolk, and I assume he's going to play against the Royals tomorrow night. Laurent Brossois is up to Vegas. That is Dan's probably one of his favorites, is Brossois. And Nolan Walker is down.
You got that name right, but you couldn't pronounce Vamaka?
No, I couldn't. I'm sorry. Oh, Charlotte won.
Alex Lyon with the win.
Oh, don't worry. The Phantoms will respond tomorrow night. Nolan Walker is down to Toronto for the Toronto Marlies. And Nick Sisek is up to San Jose. I got a thing for Sisek. And Marian Studenek is down to the Texas Stars, which I know you guys have been facing the Stars a lot this season.
Yeah, there was a stretch where the Wolves literally faced 5 times or maybe 4 in 6 games, or maybe even 5 in 6 games. Like, we saw them a lot early in the season. Like, that seemed like the only team we faced was the Texas Stars, and pretty sure we went like 500 against them, so wasn't too bad. But
yeah, there was a point in time, it was like 2 weeks ago, where I think the Phantoms played Hershey like 4 times in 6 days.
Wow.
And like, no offense to my team, but a reason I'm not going Saturday is, 1, I want to see the Ant-Man jerseys, and 2, I'm really tired of watching the baby pens. So I just need a little bit of a break. But yeah, and to go in, before we go into our next segment, check out Fanatics for all of your NHL merchandise. The promo code is 24SHIP. You get free shipping if you order anything over $24. So, and they have awesome discounts all the time. I've seen upwards of like 75% off your entire order. I'm like, so you're basically paying me.
Pretty much.
I did this just for you, Jack. If you want to talk about your boy. Between the pipes, I chose Pyotr Kochetkov. 1, because he's been playing like a madman this season, and 2, that's Jack's boy, so I'll let Jack go on his little rant about him.
Yeah, so he recorded his first regular season AHL shutout, making 28 saves as the Wolves blanked the Iowa Wild. I didn't know this. Iowa had a 13-game point streak at that time, so we snapped that streak, and where the Wolves are going on a little streak, we're on a 3-game win streak, so can't really complain about that. And just Kochetkov has been he's been unreal. He's been unreal while he's been here, and like, he's been up with the Canes. I'm pretty sure he played like 15 games with Carolina this year too, but unfortunately they have Ronta and Anderson up there, which 2 very good goaltenders as well. But just Kochetkov has been nothing but great, and like it's fun watching that kid. Like he's 23 years old, and you could tell just from watching him that he loves the game, and that he like doesn't even think. He just like reacts to any puck that's shot at him. He's a fun goalie to watch. Like if anyone wants a goalie to watch, Pyotr Kochetkov is the guy to go. And he was the one that were one of the goalies with Alex Lyon that brought the Wolves to the Calder Cup last year, where Kochetkov had posted 2 shutouts in the Calder Cup finals. So that just tells you what kind of goalie he is. And he came into the league in February or March last year and went 13-1-2 in his first 16 regular season games. And then I believe he went like 8-1 or something like that in postseason. So he's a stud.
And Chicago had a goalie logjam last season. You had McAnemy, you had Lyon, you had like 8
Jack
goalies
LaFontaine, Dylan Wells. And then we had that stretch where we had Daniel Manella, Billy Kostopoulos. Who else? I believe that might be it. But like we went through literally 6 goalies in a weekend.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Jack LaFontaine is doing wonderful with Syracuse.
Yeah. Dylan Wells has been doing really good with Rockford as well.
I'm pretty sure Taylor's watching. So Taylor, we're talking about Dylan Wells just for you, babe. Michael Hellman, Pyotr is a hell of a player. He is, we called him spicy baby goalie last season. He hasn't been so spicy this season. I don't know if I like it.
Like feisty, like fighting?
Well, yeah, because like remember last season when he almost took out the entire Iowa Wild bench?
Yeah. Alex Lyon almost took out Stockton's bench in that series too.
Oh, I remember that.
Peter almost fought Devin Cooley first game of the season this season. That was something special. And then I forgot. Oh yeah, it was against Rockford. Arvid Soderblom like shoved one of the Wolves players. I forgot who. Like with 10 minutes into the game, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and Peter was already at the red line by the time like anything happened, and then nothing happened, so he had to go back to the crease. But I want to see that guy get in a goalie fight. Like I know he wants one, so I can't wait to watch. I love the feistiness in him too.
Oh yeah, he's just so feisty, and I mean he's definitely like one of my top favorites. Our boy Fulch, he's got a little bit of spice to him too. I was like, I'm watching him in net. I'm trying to take pictures. I'm like, sir. We can all watch goalie fights. Alex Lyon actually got into a goalie fight in his Omaha Lancer days.
I think I did watch that. I always loved watching the good old goalie fights, but half the time the refs break it up nowadays, unfortunately.
And then, like, I know goalies don't always go into the penalty box, but Garrett Metcalf, his Mercyhurst days, he went into the penalty box.
I talked to him about that in my podcast with him.
Oh yeah, if you want to tell everybody about your podcast and what you do.
Yeah, so my podcast is called On the Spot Sports. It's available YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Just interview elite players from the Michigan League, Federal League, SP, Coast, AHL, even NHL guys, like old NHL guys like Scott Darling and Chris Versteeg and all them, and just highlight what they've done throughout their career, lessons they've learned throughout their journey, and how they got to where they are. And I'm also going to be starting like my experience in the mill in the Michigan Independence Hockey League, and just like my journey, like just how I'm handling stuff. And like I just want to help the younger generation prove that that people are going to doubt you. People are going to have those doubts and be like, oh, you can't make it. You don't have a resume. Like, this is my first like team on Elite Prospects. Like, I don't have a resume, and I'm trying to prove everyone wrong and go up the ranks. So I want to prove to people that, or show like the younger generation, that you can do anything you put your mind to, no matter what people say, no matter what your resume is. So if anyone want to go check it out, On the Spot Sports, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. On the Spot Sports on Instagram. Just yeah,
And pretty much any goalie you can think of, he's interviewed.
pretty much every goal you can think of has been on the show.
He's done Caden Fulcher. He's done Pat Nagel.
Jack LaFontaine, Dylan Wells, Pat Nagel, Josh
Olympian
Boyko,
Pat Nagel.
Olympian Pat Nagel. Who else?
Boyd.
Zach Fucali.
Brandon Bussey.
No, I have not done Bussey actually.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, Dylan Kelly of Kansas City and the Coast. Jamie Phillips, former Winnipeg Jets, Manitoba Moose. The list goes on and on.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do a great job, and I fully love the one episode.
Oh, the Boyks episode. I know that one.
Yeah, well, I asked her that. I was like, you need to get him on again.
And I did, and I got him on.
Yeah.
And it was a great episode.
So, Josh, if you're watching, hello.
So, Boyks.
I don't know if he's watching. I don't know if you sent the link to him.
Well, I'll get him to watch.
Grady's gonna be like, this bitch is crazy.
No.
But yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the show. I don't really have anything else, but we're going to say thank you to our sponsors, Righteous Felon, Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company, Norse Beards, Sterling Pig Brewery, Old City Sports Network, and Fanatics. And we will be back next week, Dan and I, and we're going to be starting up interviews again soon. So yeah, we should be on the lookout for that. But I hope everybody has a good night.